We have a serious problem, and that is that I am in the biggest book slump, the biggest reading slump I think that I have been in at least 5 years, if not ever, and I'm not exaggerating. I've been a very precocious reader since birth, not actually, but ever since I've learned to read, I read a lot. I've always read a lot. I love escaping into mystical worlds, and I love being creeped out by a thriller. I love crying to a really emotional book. No matter what mood I'm in, there's always a book for it. Until now. I don't know what has gotten into me, but since the start of July, it's now the end of August, I've not been reading. There are so many good books out there. There are so many books on my TBR. There are so many books that I keep checking out of the library. There's so much that I want to read, and yet I can't read anything. I feel like every single time I sit down to read, I end up scrolling on my phone, distracted by my children, distracted by my wife, distracted by my dogs, distracted, but mostly by my phone. And I don't end up reading. So I asked for your help, the experts. I don't know if you're actually experts. We're gonna try a bunch of different methods, because how do you get out of a reading slump? So the first bit of advice I'm going to try is reading your favorite genre on your Kindle. Here's my Kindle. I am thinking that I'm going to try to read Belladonna, which is a, I think, YA fantasy that's on Kindle Unlimited. I've seen a lot of people talk about this. I know it is about a girl and her relationship with death. She can't die, from what I gather. I'm gonna try this. It's part of a series, so we'll see how I feel about it. I'm ignoring my absolutely massive physical TBR, which was another piece of advice. All of the bottom 3 shelves need to be read, and I don't know. I might also bring this book outside because I bought it yesterday in attempts to try to get out of this book slump. This is a YA sapphic vampire book. I know it's also by a POC author with POC characters, so I'm really excited about this. So that's another thing that might be going good for me, is like, I'm excited about this. I'm gonna go to my happy place, which is reading outside in the summer, warm and cozy, with a 20-minute timer set because I'm trying to get a lot of stuff done tonight. I have a lot of work to do, but I want to prioritize reading, and I think that the way to do that is to set aside a chunk of reading time. I'm gonna put my phone away and I'm just gonna read for 20 minutes. So let's do it. Thoughts on Belladonna. I gave it 4 stars. Belladonna is a YA fantasy. It is about a girl who cheats death. It starts where she is supposed to die and she doesn't, and then it turns out that she is the only person that death can like talk to and interact with and touch without killing. This girl like can't die, but everyone around her does. All of her guardians, her family, everyone dies, and she feels like she's cursed. It also kind of has like Bridgerton era gothic Regency vibes, where she wants a husband, she has a fortune, she's going to debut into society. It gave me the same kind of vibes. I really liked the book. I liked their relationship. I liked their interactions. I thought they were really fun. I gave this 4 stars. And I was actually really, really excited to pick up the next book in this series because I don't know if it's just a trilogy, but there's 3 books out in this series. So I read the first one on Kindle Unlimited, like I said. I read it quick. I was like, all right, give me the next. I've discovered my new biggest ick when it comes to reading, and that is that only the first book in the series is on Kindle Unlimited. If I wanted to read the rest of the series, I would need to go buy them, or I guess I could take them out of the library. That's what I'll probably do. I'll get on a wait list now. That was a good idea. It's happened before where I have had to buy subsequent books and series because they're not all on Kindle Unlimited, and I realized how much I hate that. I want them all on Kindle Unlimited, or I want them all not on Kindle Unlimited. Please choose, decide where you're gonna have this book, because I can't own only part of the series. That's also an ick. I need the whole series. So I learned that I really hate that. Made me angry. I'm not going out to buy the rest of the series because I'm mad about it. I might not even read the rest of the series because I'm that upset. 4 stars. Am I out of my reading slump? No. Maybe I would be if the entire series was on Kindle Unlimited, but it's not. So now I don't want to read again. feel like a kid having a tantrum. It's gonna open, yeah. I read a book in a day. I read this in a day. The only thoughts I'm going to give you on this is I'm 99% sure it was written by a ghostwriter, and it's also 180 pages. It's very short, like the margins are very large, as you can see, and it cost $26 Canadian. I didn't buy it, library book, but $26 Canadian, that's crazy. Book prices are out of this world. So I'm looking on Kindle Unlimited for a book because I'm just still mad that the entire Belladonna series isn't on here. So I need a new book on Kindle Unlimited. But tell me why when I go to books you might like on Kindle Unlimited, always like half of them are not on Kindle Unlimited. Can someone tell me why that is? It's really frustrating.
Right here?
Yeah, she's my tripod right now. They're a little crooked.
Oh.
And you can't be chewing loudly while you're tripoding.
Oh.
One of the most common suggestions I got was to read a fast-paced thriller. This one just called to me off the shelf.
I read that.
Party. Was it good? It looked good.
Here's my opinion on books.
What?
Don't give it back. I don't like when they do that on the back.
Reviews on the back instead of
Put the synopsis on the back, or don't put it at all, bitches.
You can't swear in my videos.
Block it out. But that's how I feel about it. It irks me, but it's probably okay.
Well, I'm gonna read this. I want to see if I can read it in one day,
Who's
but
the
I have
author?
to work too. So, Amy Stewart.
You're gonna try and read that today?
Maybe.
When?
I know I have no time. Anyway, here we go. So my idea was to read a quick, fast-paced thriller, like you all suggested, to help get out of this reading slump. And I picked this up, like I said, A Death at the Party. I don't know. I'm not really into it. This is what keeps happening. This is why I'm in a reading slump. I'm 32 pages in. Is it bad? No. Is it gripping me? No. Do I want to read it? Not really. So then I picked up another thriller. This one's called Dear Hannah. I think it's actually a sequel to Baby Teeth. I think it's about the same people. I've never read Baby Teeth, but this came out on Kindle Unlimited yesterday. It was published yesterday, and I had known about it, so I was like, you know what, I'll give it a try. It's about a psychopath. I'm 12% into that. I'm just gonna probably pick between them until one catches my attention, because this is what keeps happening. I also started Such a Bad Influence, which is another thriller. I started a fantasy. Nothing's catching my attention. So let's try. Let's sit down and be like, you know what, we're actually just gonna read right now and not do anything else. My Kindle has such a long battery life, but I never charge it. I just wanted to tell you that it says Squirrely Girl is someone's nickname in this book. Squirrely Girl sounds a lot like Squirrely Early.
Squirrely early.
So bedtime took absolutely forever tonight, but I actually did some reading while I was putting the twins down for bed because one of them just wanted me to cuddle him for an hour and a half. Any parents out there can relate to how much that sucks. So I just sat in a rocking chair with him and he just laid on my chest, and every once in a while, because he was like not even going to sleep, he was very awake. Every once in a while he'd just like pop his head up and like say something to me. He doesn't have that many words, he's a year and a half, but he would say like twinkle twinkle or hi mommy, which leads me to my potential ick that I didn't know that I had. So I'm reading Dear Hannah, which is a very quick paced thriller, which is exactly what I needed. I'm actually 54% into it after starting it last night at this time, which is really good for me. That might be the first little inkling that I'm getting out of this reading slump, but I really liked it. I'm really liking it. It's very easily devourable. Like, I'm very intrigued on like what is going to happen, and our lead character Hannah is a psychopath or a sociopath. I can never remember which it is. She's very calculating and very interesting to be inside of her mind, so I'm constantly like, ooh, like, what is she gonna do, this wild lady? I don't think I need to read Baby Teeth to read this and understand what's going on. Like, I don't think that's at all necessary. I think it's giving a good amount of backstory that I'm not missing anything. What I was going to say though, why I picked up the camera, mommy. I don't think that I like the word. And some of you are probably thinking, Sam, your kids call you mommy. I know. But I'm reading adults calling their mothers mommy in this, or adults referring to like a teen's mother as mommy. And I don't like it. Maybe I don't want to be mommy. Dare I say, your ideas are working. I think that I am on my way out of this reading slump. I'm not going to say I'm out of it yet, but I'm on my way out. That kind of fire for reading, that like drive, that excitement, I can feel it. I can feel it. It's not entirely there, but it's coming. Last night, I read Dear Hannah. So I read a book in 24 hours. That's amazing. It wasn't necessarily super short, but it was really fast paced. Also, I'm someone that likes, let's say, like multimedia in books. So it was a mix of letters between her and her brother, and then also the story. So I feel like the letters really broke it up. Also, I like short chapters. It was a short chapter type of book. It was Baby Teeth's about a child psychopath. This book is about her all grown up. I think that I misread and misunderstood, miscomprehended the synopsis, because I thought that Hannah's daughter in this book, Hannah the psychopath, sociopath, I don't know what is what. I thought that the stepdaughter was gonna also end up being a psychopath or sociopath and was like messing with her. Unfortunately, I was wrong. I misunderstood that. So I was waiting the whole book for that twist, for that turn. I was so excited for it. That never happened, because that's not what it says the book is about. I gave this book 3 stars. It served its purpose for me. It was quick. It was entertaining. It made me want to see what happened and turn the page. There was lots of twists and turns. The ending left me wanting so much more. So for that reason, 3 stars. But it did what I wanted it to do. So the piece of advice that has come up time and time again from you all is to reread a favorite. Dog's barking. This is when I confess to you that I do not enjoy rereading books typically. So looking at this shelf, there's not really anything that I want to reread right now. People want to know why I have such a lovely collection of books if I don't like rereading books. I feel like in the future I'm going to want to read a lot of these again if they were a good book and I enjoyed them, but they're all still too fresh and there's too many new things I want to read. The only series that I typically enjoy rereading is the Harry Potter series. I have a Harry Potter shelf hidden back there. The author gives me the ick. She keeps doubling down on her icky thoughts and icky beliefs, and I just feel like I wouldn't enjoy rereading it right now. I will say I also have been wanting to reread A Court of Thorns and Roses. This is the book that got me back into reading fantasy, for sure. I hadn't read fantasy since I was a kid. I think the last fantasy book I would have read before this was like Twilight in high school maybe. I was strictly a thriller reader with maybe a little bit of like literary fiction sprinkled in, and that was it. But then I picked this up and fell down the rabbit hole, and I've been a fantasy girly ever since, and I love this book. And I feel like I would like to do a reread. Here's the but with this book. If I reread that, I know I would then reread the entire series and I would fall down a rabbit hole and A Court of Thorns and Roses would become my whole life again. And I don't want that to happen this second, so I think I'm not going to do a reread. I don't think I'm going to reread any favorites, anything on this shelf. Guys, I lied to you. We're going to do a reread, because I realized I have this entire marked series on my bookshelf. I think it's 10 books. I think the series is actually called The House of Night. And they're technically a reread. I don't remember what really happens in them. I know it's a vampire YA series. I want to say this came out in like the early 2000s, and I read it then with my mom, and my mom loves this, and it's one of her comfort reads when she wants to like get back into reading. She finds these just so fast paced, such an easy read because they're YA. I yell at my mom all the time when she's visiting because she'll be like, oh, I don't know what to read, and I have a huge selection of books, but these are on my bookshelf, so she'll just be like, oh, I'll just reread one of these. And I'm like, stop, there are so many good books. So we're gonna do a little reread of Marked, a House of Night novel. The first one. It's written by a mother-daughter duo. So I did start it last night and made it to page 62. So a good ways in, you can tell how old and read these books are. So we're just gonna read this. I'm sitting here reading. She's on her phone. A lot of things are giving me the ick in this reread. Like, they just used the R word.
No.
Yep, it left me feeling like a total R word when I saw that. I get that the book is from 2005 maybe, but still, I don't like it. Zoe, the main character in this book, is the biggest pick-me girl in the worst way that I've ever encountered. Quote, she was a tiny blonde and darn near perfect. Actually, she reminded me of a young version of Sarah Jessica Parker, who I don't like, by the way. She's just so annoying and unnaturally perky. And there was also a dig at like Paris Hilton earlier. That's not fun for me. She feels like such a mean girl. It's getting worse. I need to talk to my mom about why she likes this series so much. Maybe it gets better. Okay, the next page, she's describing her friend and what her friend is wearing, and her pants she's describing as, you know, the kind that those ag kids wear? I don't know what that means. That are way too tight and have no back pockets. How could anyone think no back pockets and tightness was cute? I'd never understand. Describing her friend. I squeezed my eyes shut tightly and hoped desperately that whatever we were eating for dinner, oh please let there not be any blood drinking involved, would disagree with my already screwed up nervous stomach. Oh no, I whispered to myself, it would be just my luck to get a raging case of diarrhea. That's how that chapter ended. This is the token guy in the group, Damien, but he's gay, so I don't think he really counts as a guy. Actually, he was cute, not in the overly girly way so many teenage guys are when they decide to come out and tell everyone what everyone already knew. I finished Marked, so this was my reread because as I was getting into it, I remembered a lot of it. Even though I read this book, oh my gosh, in 2007, a long time ago, it is nice to know that I do remember some information from books. Normal girl turns vampire, goes to vampire school, extremely catty, extremely high school, extremely immature. I found a lot of this book a little triggering, I would say, in the word choice. And it made me not want to read it, honestly. A lot of the words that they were using, I was like, that's such a horrible way of describing something or someone or, you know, just like word choice really got to me. And then I thought about the world in 2007 because I was preteen in 2007 and it was normal. A lot of these words that we now think of as derogatory, a lot of these words were just used in casual conversation by teens. So I do kind of get that, like saying things like that's so gay or meaning something's bad or dumb was so common. Still inappropriate, but more common. I don't know what teens talk like now. 2 stars. Do I want to read more of this series? Kind of. I see why my mom says that it's such a quick, easy read because it's so mindless. I will say it's like anti-feminist. It's so problematic in so many ways. So I don't actually recommend buying this book. If you're going to get it, find a copy at a thrift store. Does the rest of the series get better? Who knows? It's a huge series. I know that a lot of people love this series because of the nostalgia. Most people read this series in the early 2000s. The goal of this reread was to get me out of my reading slump. Did it work? I don't know, I read this pretty quick. That's a good sign, right? So am I out of my reading slump? I'm not sure. I hope I am. I mean, at least this video got me reading something. I think I have a little bit of that spark back for reading, which is also what I needed. There were so many good tips that you guys sent in, so thank you so much. If any of you want to give advice on how to get out of a reading slump, leave it down in the comments. Maybe it will help someone that comes across this video because they're also in a reading slump. And I am going to hopefully be back soon with another reading vlog because it's been a while because I haven't been reading. Alright, I'll see you guys really soon. Thanks so much for everyone that contributed to this video, and I'll see you real soon.